I'm Ganesh Chakya.
And who better to talk to us about the alternatives to Obama and Romney than one of the candidates challenging them? I'm now joined by Peta Lindsay. She's the presidential candidate for the Socialism and Liberation Party. Now, I understand even if elected, you would be barred from presidency due to your age. So why are you really running?
I mean, we're running to expose the elections and to give voters an alternative, to talk about how, from our perspective, change has never come from the elections. It's never come from the politicians. Change comes from building the movement. But let's talk about that issue of ineligibility. People forget that the Constitution's a living document. When the Constitution was framed, I would have been considered ineligible because I'm a woman or because I'm African American. And the only reason that changed is because oppressed people, women and African Americans and many other oppressed people, refused to accept their marginalization under the law and instead organized and fought back against it. At a time when young people are suffering so disproportionately from the policies of this government, why is it acceptable to disenfranchise us in this way and keep us out of the government? That's one of the points we're making with this campaign.
All right. If it's unrealistic, of course, to think that you'll actually get elected, this is a perfect opportunity, isn't it, an election, for your voice to be heard. But in order to take part in the campaign, you need a lot of money. And how can you do that when you are anti-corporate, of course, your party is, and you need the backing of big business, don't you, to get even your voice heard in all of this?
Right. I mean, under the two-party system, the two-party system is really just a form of class rule. It's a way for the 1% to exercise their almost unlimited domination of the political and economic system in this country. Obama and Romney are spending like $2.5 billion, which, first off, what a tremendous waste. I've been in New York doing relief work for Hurricane Sandy. There are 40,000 people who've become homeless as a result of this hurricane. What could those people do with the $2.5 billion? Why aren't we using it to build housing instead? But, the corporations give them this money. You don't get that kind of money without the support of the big banks and corporations to ensure that their interests are represented in the elections, and so that regardless of whether it's a Democrat who wins or a Republican who wins, it's the corporations who win, it's the banks who win, it's the people who lose. We've managed to do an awful lot with just our ideas. We have a 10-point program that speaks to the things that working people really need. We have a network of volunteers. We haven't paid anyone, and we still managed to turn in 30,000 signatures to get on the ballot in New York City. We're on the ballot in 13 states right now, and it's really just the power of our organization. It's the truth of our message. It's resonating with people. And that's what's helping us get out there.
Have you ever thought about maybe clubbing together with other third-party candidates and perhaps forming a temporary political union to give you a fighting chance? Indeed, there must be some similarities in your causes amongst those third parties and a chance, of course, to put your concerns on a platform.
I mean, absolutely. We believe in unity, and I agree with a lot of what the third parties are saying. But, from our perspective, fundamentally, it's not about who is president under this system. It's the system that is fundamentally corrupt. It's the system that guarantees that there's going to be greater and greater profits for the wealthy few and greater misery for the rest of us. So, there are some third parties who believe that it's just a matter of who's president. They say if I can get into office, I'll change everything. But we're saying the whole system's got to go. It doesn't matter who gets elected. The people must unite and organize and overthrow this system in order to get real change.
How likely is that in the near future that two-party domination will ever change, that you will be able to end what you call corruption and this dominance?
Well, there's a saying in South Africa. They said all revolutions are impossible until they happen, and then they were always inevitable. We see people all over the world are rising up against a system that produces mass unemployment, the system that produces racist police brutality, that produces so much misery for the majority of us. People from Tunisia to Egypt to Greece to Spain to Italy, Montreal, people are in the streets and they're fighting back. And, the U.S. is a part of that world. The U.S. is a part of that movement. We see the movement rising. Every day I've been out here talking to people, more and more people who are very upset with the system and who are fighting back. I have a great belief in the people of the United States.
All right, thanks very much indeed, Peta Lindsay. Looking forward to hearing you in the debate a little later here on RT. Thank you.